good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. This is your favorite channel, Social Banters. Today we'll be talking about a very, in the Nigerian language, as the odds. The breaking news about Pastor Feyi Daniels. I'm sure a lot of us know him, know the prophets that prophesied about how the president will be arrested on Inauguration Day. I'm not saying the prophecy did not come true. Of course, fulfillment of prophecy comes in, people see in batches, you understand? Maybe, perhaps.
Maybe the inauguration is talking about has not happened.
Inauguration.
Inauguration.
I don't cut into my flow. Inauguration not a finish. This man will be contesting in 2027, and who knows, that prophecy may just come true in 2027. Maybe when it's been inaugurated the second time. I don't know. I'm not but when it comes to matters between people and God, in quotes, you were not there when they gave him the prophecy now, so the signal may not be too clear or something happened to the signal. But that is not the crux of the discussion today, you understand? We want to look at his legal battles. Quite a lot of people thought this is something that happened. I was on X, formerly Twitter, this afternoon, and I saw somebody saying, if every judicial process in Nigeria could be this fast, the blah blah blah, and I couldn't actually resist the temptation to reply that, guy, this was not a case of 2023. In fact, it's something that started 2020. Before then, there were so many things. So that is what the banters will be about today. We await your comments. Let's see how you see this. And so, even in this particular case, I think there are two or three people involved. For the other lady, the court dismissed his suit for lacking in merit, that there was no clear-cut evidence of force and brute force, or that I think he could not prove beyond reasonable doubt before the court that it was actually non-consensual. It actually looks to the judge, it actually looks consensual, and that particular case was thrown out. But for this one where he was convicted, I think that lady, I've forgotten her name now, sounds so convincing. And one other thing is, in fact, there were about 2 or 3 Facebook pages that were created as far back as 2019 or thereabouts, before the whole thing even resulted in I think it was after so much outcry from the victims that some of them decided to pick it up. When it comes to issues like rape in this part of the world, people are always afraid to come out because, number one, victimization. You don't want to be that, in code, the sexually pervert, even when people that are trying to make you look like the perverts around there are actually more pervert. The stigma thing, is what a lot of people. But I had a little bit of I wouldn't call it an eyewitness report. Bishop Feyi Daniel as a mentee in Akure, Ondo State.
Oh, okay.
A friend of mine happens to be a former member. She no longer attends that church now, of that particular church where the mentee pastors. Sometimes in 2021, yes, 2021, yeah, 2021, there were supposed to be a crusade kind of, and where Pastor Bishop Feyi Daniel was invited to come and minister. And in the course of the program, I think like 18-seater bus brought in students from Adekunle Ajasi University, Akungba Akoko, right there in Ondo State, and protesting. And in fact, they were almost, according to her, they were almost disrupting the whole
No
program.
problem. Mm.
And they won't allow him to preach because of, I think, more than one. I think two or three of their, according to them, he came to minister in a particular fellowship on campus. And as a result of follow up, I wouldn't know. I think it's one of those cases in court should be from the Akumba lady, if I'm very, very correct. I've not
Yeah, yeah,
actually
yeah, Kungalete, yeah.
Akumba lady.
There's another one from Oshogo too. I don't know.
You
Right.
understand? So it wasn't just that Akumba lady then. I think there were about two or three, but I guess the others could not follow through with the legal aspect of the whole thing. So it's one thing that I can establish. The case is, well, the court has pronounced him guilty. So I think it's maybe it may not really be out of place to say he's guilty. So it's more of sexual perversion. Then the social media mobs. Sorry to use that language, I've seen a lot of comments that are trying to attach it to the political situation. Number, I don't think that holds water for me
Okay,
because
okay. Before we get there, please, before we get there, um let me quickly say a little bit about the story, okay? Because I read in the news, a bit about the story. I What they said was that the lady from Akunga, maybe that's her school, that there was a time because when they were doing the cross-examination, the um lead counsel, prosecuting counsel, was asking him or asked the lady at first, okay, asked him that, okay, what happened between you and the lady when you went to minister at Akunba Akoko, like the university there? That the lady saw him and kissed to the point that, of course, maybe all the fellowship members were there and it was like an open thing. So the guy now said, the pastor said, that it's not like she's angry or anything, that but she was disappointed because she asked him for money to sponsor, to give her money, and he couldn't. And that's what created that scene. You understand? So they now asked the lady about what happened. And the lady said they had I think a 3 day program, like a fasting and prayer program. They had a prayer program, and then he asked them to fast for a certain number of days. And then he told them, because he said she was drafted, okay, that her elder brother, was playing. That's the first contact she had with the man, like how she knew the man. Like she said, her brother was playing the man's teaching on his speaker, and she was hearing, and then she now said, "Who is this man?" And the brother told her about it. So by and large, that was how she connected with the man in one way or the other. That she joined, the man came to Akunga, blah blah blah. She joined the man's men, I think his men's mentorship program or something. That the man refers to all of them as men, okay? Because in the spirit there is no gender and all that. So, and they now add a program. They joined a WhatsApp group whereby all of them are on that WhatsApp group. So they now add a program from the WhatsApp group. He chose one of the brothers, like a son, a spiritual son to this Pastor Feyi Daniels, as as our own prayer partner. You understand? So that one is the one she was close to. So later on, they now had an event, and the event was meant to culminate into like a prayer session with the pastor, whereby the pastor will lay his hands on each of them. That's after the entire prayer, fasting and prayer stuff. So she now had to go to Lagos to get her own laying on of hands. So it was when she got to Lagos that she said, according to her, it was late. So she couldn't stay, she couldn't find anywhere to stay overnight. So she now called this so-called prayer partner, and the man advised her to call pastor. You understand? So that was how she called Pastor Feyi Daniels. That okay, she doesn't know where to stay, and they now met up and like kind of like okay, you can stay in my house, till the following morning. So according to her, she was not the only one who went to the pastor's house. She went with another lady and a couple. Okay, so the couple left that night. They didn't sleep overnight, so he was left with the lady. So she and the lady slept in the same room. So I think the following morning, or according to her, the following morning, when she was about to leave, the pastor came, laid hands on her, and then went back to his room. So the second time, the pastor now came and started praying and prophesying, saying things to her. And that after the pastor now asked her, like, are you on your period? And the lady said no. So the pastor went back to the room. So at this point, the lady now went back to her own room, but the other lady was no more there. Okay, maybe she had gone out or whatever. So the pastor now came again and now gave her, according to her, she said there are two pictures of the pastor's mentor or spiritual father in that living room. So the pastor now showed her the picture that she would hear directly from the picture, that she would hear from the picture. So the pastor, yeah, that she faced the picture, she was praying, the pastor went back to the room, and then the pastor came back again and said, what have you heard from my spiritual father? So the lady now said, I didn't hear anything from the picture and all that. So the man now said, okay, he's going to communicate with you in another way. So just remain focused and all that. So the pastor went again, and she said not long after she saw a message, received a message on her phone bearing the name of the spiritual father. And the spiritual father, the text message reads, whatever my son tells you, please do. You can see it's very interesting.
No, hallelujah. Hallelujah.
So that she couldn't call the number. You understand? Like it's not a number you can call, you understand? Maybe you understand what. So at the end
Okay,
of
sir.
the day, yeah, it's just SMS. Maybe the number is a hidden number, you understand?
Okay, sir.
So that at the end of the day, when she saw that message, the man now came back and said, okay, have you received anything? She now told him that she got a message and all that. So from there, the man now said, okay, I want to tell you some things about your background. When you were a child, an auntie did this, an auntie did that, blah, blah, blah. And the only thing you can do is that they will have to have sex.
No,
That
they want to.
they have to have sex for that deliverance to take place.
Since you
So
went
from
for
there,
labor, they need to
eh?
lay on.
No,
Abi now.
it was meant to be a laying on of hands, but right now a full body lay.
So she needed the laying of the body. So she was laid on.
Oh my God. I'm making this thing sound funny. It's not really funny, actually. Okay. So that was how eventually she said she entered the room, and that was how it happened. That she was really, shocked when it happened. Of course, there wasn't anything she could do at that point in time or so. And that was just the story. That was all I could pick from the
Yeah.
story. So because initially I was skeptical, like, okay, what are the evidence? It's not as if I'm in any way trying to, but we need to be as objective as possible. You understand? There's a different thing. I wanted to say this the other time. There's a different thing between, okay, pastor committed adultery or fornication. You understand? That is spiritual. That is spiritual. But in the face of the law, it could be, you know, consensual, you understand? Like between two consenting adults, you understand? So, but For them to now say rape, I was like, okay, how did they establish this? But by the time I read the story, of course, the story was detailed enough for you to know that this is not just a mere accusation and all that. And from his own defense, okay, he wasn't saying anything. He was just denying. So there wasn't like a storyline from its angle to say, okay, in fact,
Yes.
nothing of such happened.
That,
No,
even the
this,
even
yeah.
even the said it that all those stories were actually corroborated. They were not outrightly denied,
Mm,
except rape is a very large word. When you deceive or you manipulate, it's actually rape. In fact, that's why in the other claim, apart from our own claim,
yeah.
they recognize rape in marriage. A husband
Yeah,
could
okay. Yeah.
and it's not even every time that the Oyinbo man talks about rape that involves force when you manipulate. But sorry for cutting into your flow. I so much for the story. So much for the story. It's actually I'm a Christian, and it's actually not a very good story to tell. In fact, on a good day, if I were to be sentimental, I may not really love to discuss this kind of issue on the social platform. But truth
Yeah.
be told, the pastor not do well at all.